Just the knowledge of like the stage control and then the movement, I think, of Edith really lended a lot to her win.
Oh, I know who's coming up on this right now. Space, that is go. I actually saw Space, so I did not know Space went down to Chicago for the most recent combo breaker. I literally
Uh-huh.
appeared. I saw Zap. Oh, I see Zap all the time. Zap is so easy to find. And then here comes Space appearing out of nowhere. I was like, oh my god, Space, you're here, which makes sense when I think about it. They are like together, so of course they would go to the same things together. But as we get situated into the second match of the night, we have ToughLudwig also coming in, of course, on a Ludwig. Why would we ever see anything different? And of course,
Mhm.
based on the patented Piranha plant, we are starting things off on PS2. Very classic of all things. Oh, we ran right through that poison cloud, and look how much damage ToughLudwig took. That was like
Oh
45% off
man.
the bat.
Yeah, I mean, really, from like the poison cloud into the Patui, just lending itself so much to that quick damage that Space is able to rack up here versus tough Ludwig. Not able to get the stock just yet, thanks to the weight of Ludwig. However, Space is still just kind of getting this time to set up a lot of his projectiles in order to effectively camp tough Ludwig out.
But gets interrupted with, of course, those power drills of from ToughLudwig. So now we kind of set up these Mega Koopas as well, but Space taking up a lot of space here, just kind of forcing out this airspace from ToughLudwig and forcing him to really play around this left side and running around with the cloud card. But then you get caught in the air, and boom, Space looking very nice so far with all three stocks. Only 40% to his name, and ToughLudwig, they are struggling a little bit here against these Poison Cloud Pitui setups.
Yeah, it looks as though Tough Ludwig is still sort of struggling to snuff out a lot of Space's movements. As a character, Piranha Plant really needs the stage advantage in order to set up his most deadly attacks. However, a character like Tough Ludwig has, while he does have the the weight advantage as well as various boxing tools to their advantage, there's still a lot that Space is able to do here versus Tough Ludwig that they don't seem to be able to answer to at the moment.
I had to agree, but however, Space is living to around 140% here, Pound a little
Ooh,
bit heavier than
okay.
most people, but there's that first stock can be taken away from Space. Now, ToughLudwig has a little bit of a hill to climb to get the, extra credit back in their favor. Now, all we have to really do is avoid Poison Clouds, avoid these incoming arrows from Space, which she does beautifully well, and now Space has to really make sure that we don't falter on our game plan at all here.
Yeah, oh, it was interesting here to see Tough Ludwig trying to get a combo with the ladder started, utilizing the clown cart to their advantage. Really nice stuff to be able, like, here showing, demonstrating some of, like, their character knowledge, able to, like, find their spacing as, like, here Space is just trying to, like, struggling to keep up and running after Tough Ludwig.
Now playing a very much zoning kind of war here. Mecha Koopas and the Pituis going at one another over and over and over again. But Space looking a little bit behind. You can see suddenly in the first part of the match where he was so ahead, so comfortable. Suddenly it's really taking a turn in favor of ToughLudwig as we are seeing ToughLudwig to keep Space off in this right side. Goes for the pummel, does get interrupted, however, with the Pitui, which is absolutely massive for Space because I think that absolutely would have been his stock in that sense. Now we are going to be seeing the we do whiff, but we don't get the punish. Instead, we are going to be able to find the kill though for ToughLudwig, and now they're in a relatively comfortable position in this first game.
Yeah, absolutely. Tough Ludwig is really finding the ways in which they need to snuff out Space's momentum in order to gain as much damage as possible. And once a character like Piranha Plant is essentially limited, then there's not a whole lot that they can do in order to respond to a character like Ludwig, as Tough Ludwig is demonstrating here at a comfortable
Oh, that's
126%.
death.
And that's the game right there. A two stock. Wonderfully done from Tough Ludwig versus Space.
Oh, I saw that back here and I was like, yup, you're gonna connect that and Space is gonna die. That is one of the, it's a really difficult hitbox to hit consistently, but when you do hit it, there is a huge reward for it. It's one of the, I think one of the hardest hitting backers in the game is Jabata Jr.'s back here out of the cart, but otherwise that was extremely well done from ToughLudwig. Kind of starting off in a little bit of a tougher spot, being down a stock. Space was really comfortable with those 3 stocks and having a low percentage. But I think as the game went on, momentum shifted. ToughLudwig started to play the game plan a little bit better, started to play a little bit more zony, try to play outside of Piranha Plant's range, a somewhat shortish range with the Poison Clown and Patuis. The only really long range game plan that Piranha Plant has is
Oh
just when you
man, okay,
extend
Rosalina.
that head. But yeah, we have Rosalina coming up, and oh, big Rosalina fan. I love Rosalina.
Oh my god, yes. I love the Guardian Space Princess. If that's not who she is, then I'm sorry, I don't know Mario lore, fake fan. Anyways, anyways, here we go. Space leading with a lot of damage here versus ToughLudwig. ToughLudwig struggling to sort of get in, especially with the addition of the Luma here, which I don't know if they were maybe expecting to deal with in this game, but still able to get in, utilizing the clown cart and able to go for some of these ladders, getting some pretty decent damage on Rosalina. The lightness of her character is definitely going to be at a deficit versus a heavier character. The issue is just ToughLudwig being able to get in and find their openings in order to do damage.
Completely agree here, but like you just saw, I think what a really cool part about Rosalina's kid is that she's gonna be able to really negate these Mega Koopas by just kind of taking or inhaling them, I guess, or sending them to the blast zone. I fear, but that's not gonna be a really big factor for ToughLudwig at the moment. So now we gotta play a little bit more closer. What the game plan has done is it's shifted completely opposite of what the Piranha Plant matchup would have been. Now Rapid Jab gonna be actually low poking the shield down the below, forcing Space off stage. Once again, Luma has been expended here, and she will be coming back in a little bit, but the up B comes through and allows that back air also come in right around Space.
Absolutely. So really awesome utilization of the movement and also the like the aerials here from ToughLudwig, able to close out that stock versus Space. Space here struggling to return to stage, going onto the upper platform, finding that back air though. The Luna is offline right now, sort of dodging away from the Mecha Koopa, but still getting hit with it, utilizing the teleport and able to try to get out of that situation and finding the up smash there for the first stock for Space.
Absolutely wonderful reversal from Space. Started off with that beautiful dash back off stage, and that came in with the Nair, and then boom, you saw that up smash really come in after the fact. Now, Sunny Space, like you said, is going to be a slight disadvantage weight-wise. You're at 77% as Rosalina 93 now, and this could be an opportunity for Ludwig to really just go all in, aggressive, right? Oh, good spot dodge, Howard, to avoid the up smash. Was expecting it in that corner, but we are whiffing some of our aerials between both these characters, so we reset back to neutral and wait for Zuna to come back out, wait for this these projectiles to be eaten up by Space, but that allows that down tilt to come in from ToughLudwig.
Yeah, absolutely. Rosalina at a very killable percentage here versus ToughLudwig, and ToughLudwig absolutely knows that, trying to follow up and use Space's floatiness against him. However, Space is still able to reset with Luma, able to do some of his own damage, sending ToughLudwig back. However, Space is now off stage without Luma, coming back and trying to recover from the upper platform. Okay, yep.
I mean, yeah. You can see Space like using as much of his movement as possible to avoid these big hitboxes from ToughLudwig, and unfortunately it just wasn't gonna last that long. The Clown Car is such a speedy movement ability that ToughLudwig does have at their disposal. However, we're at 99%. Space is trying to bring it back slowly but surely. We are at 1 stock for Space, so any extra pair that ToughLudwig does get is going to be very much not in favor of Space. I'm just getting 33%. That's a lot for a lighter character like Rosalina. Oh, 52%. Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, Space really needs to close out this stock quickly if he wants a chance to recover in this set. Able to pocket some of those cannonballs. However, there's just a lot of like a war of attrition here going on between these two. There's only so much that Space is able to do, it seems, versus ToughLudwig.
Oh!
ToughLudwig is able to seal out the game 2-0 versus Space. What a clutch!
Extreme clutch coming in from ToughLudwig. That was just very well done. Goes up in high, finds the backer, because Rosalina, her fall speed in general, her trajectory speed is so slow, and that up special from Bowser Jr. is insanely generous in terms of speed, verticality, and also that backer. After the fact, if you land that again, you're dead. you're just dead. If you're at an even medium or high percentage, yeah, GG's. We go next, right? So big 2-0 win for Tough Ludwig here in the pools phase of Fusion 253. And now, as you see the replays, I mean, again, it started off so strong for Space. I mean, that was a good angle to catch Ludwig kind of lacking in that air. But you'll see in these replays, Ludwig slowly starts to stop playing closer to Space and starts playing really far from him.
If I can say one thing about Tough Ludwig, and like this is a privilege that I've had of watching a lot of their sets, it's that she has an excellent comeback mechanic in the way that like they as a player is able to adapt and really like utilize a lot of their opponent's weaknesses against them. It's just really amazing to see someone who's able to think so clearly in the middle of a set in order to reset the game in their favor.
I agree. I feel like Bowser Jr. as a character also is kind of momentum based. So as you keep using these Mega Koopas, as you keep with punishing people's aerials or some what other else they're using, you know, Bowser Jr. starts to really just ramp it up, and people will either counter aggress where they will just like try to match that tempo and their character can likely cannot do the same, or they play a little more passively. They try to like punish the approaches from Bowser Jr.'s, and it will either make you or break you, you know? I feel like Space had the right idea at most of the time, but when you didn't have Luma to kind of outspace or interrupt the clown cards, or when you're constantly getting a little more predictive, and that's when you start seeing Tough Love like, kind of throw out these Mecha Koopas and the ball.
Yeah.
Throwing the
cannon.
cannonball, yeah,
Mhm.
like throwing out the
You're good.
cannon, you know, you're seeing every time, okay, Space is staying right there and absorbing it. Now that's punishable. After a couple of times, Lily was like, okay, so I'm just going to throw this at you. You're going to sit there and absorb it, and I'm going to down tilt you, or I'm going to clown cart you. I'm going to just run up at you and rapid jab, you know, and that got more and more predictable. So Space, I think, just needed to kind of switch up a little bit during the second half of that game too, but otherwise, I think both of them played very well, and also a very interesting character pool we've had so far. I must say we had Inkling on stream, we had Piranha Plant, we've had Rosalina come back. Like, I love this. We're only two
Mhm.
sets in. We have some characters today.
I know, right? I mean, with a cast of 82, it's not like you expect to see every single one of the characters every day, but there's certainly some that you see a lot less than others. And seeing like the level of skill that it takes to require, or that like in order to pilot the characters at this level is just really awesome to see.
Yeah, completely agree with you. But I think we have our next match coming up. I see on. Okay, so just so everyone knows, so I'm not like looking at nothing.